Gentlemen, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Vitumele Magovishani, the creator of the Be Smart Budget, your sustained budgeting, and of course the self-appointed personal finance activist. If you're new to this channel, please click on the subscribe button. And today, guys, I want to talk about 6 tips that you can actually use when you are drawing up your budget. Okay, so I know that creating a budget or drawing one up is very easy, and but on the other hand, sticking to it is not. So these steps are going to help you when you're drawing your budget. It's either if you are buying my budget template, which is found the link will be in the description box. If you do decide to purchase the template, these steps are going to help you with that. But also if you create your own budget, these steps will still be able to help you navigate that budget. So the first tip is you're going to have to be realistic. When you create a budget, be realistic as much as you can, and that's the only way a budget works, is if you are realistic. And then look at your income, you look at your spending, and if you are spending more than you are earning, then your budget should serve as a remedial action plan. And if you approach your budget proactively, you are going to be able to save, and you plan your saving goals and your investing well if you approach it proactively. And then the other thing, guys, you need to do is to pay yourself first. And whilst you paying yourself first, make sure that you automate this certain expense, because it is difficult for us to get paid today. While we see the debit orders go off, we still go and transfer money into our savings account or our investing. It is quite emotionally draining. So the one thing that you are going to want to do is to automate this expense, so that when all this money is going out, you know that, okay, the car went off, the bond went off, the children's school fees went off, this went off, but also my 25% savings have went off. If you save in 25, my 10%, my 5%, my 2% of my income has went off. So save however much you can and always automate it so that it can go off smoothly. And then the second thing is you can do is to identify your triggers. What are your spending triggers? Why do you spend so much money on certain things? And then you look at ways that you can find alternative for those things. Like, I know I have a friend that spends 500 rand a month on coffee, because every day on their way to work they get a cup of coffee at 13 rand. So she ends up spending like 500 rand. So what I said to her when she told me about this, I told her, you know what, get a travel mug and make your coffee at home. Buy all the ingredients that you'd want in your coffee and then make your coffee at home. And let me tell you this, she is pleased with that. So identify these triggers and find ways that what makes you want to spend this money, what makes you want to buy all of these things. But if you cannot do that, then allocate pocket money for the specific thing. So let's say you can afford 200 rand rather on coffee instead of the 500 rand. So then you allocate pocket money in your budgeting line, in your budget, on your in your miscellaneous, because with the Be Smart budget there is miscellaneous on all the walls, né? So it's often difficult to track miscellaneous, because we put under miscellaneous everything that is unallocated in our budget. So most of the time you cannot actually track that spending on what exactly did you put in there. But if you have a pocket money for every specific thing, guys, with the budget, make it that is my next tip, actually, to make it, to personalize it, make it your own. So I always say, even if it's as long as my legs or long as whatever, make sure that even if in its lengthiness, that you are seeing exactly where your money goes. So if you have this pocket money allocated for this thing, the coffee, then you know when it's finished, it's finished. It could be finished on the 3rd of the month, then you know that there is no more money that is going towards the specific thing. Né? And then you build in some spoils. Guys, nothing keeps you motivated as buying the things that you love. So build in some spoils in your budget. Make sure that the things that you love are in there. They are included in there, like your books, your hobbies, the things that you love, your holiday, your travels, or the things that you like to do. They are all included in that. Build it in there so that it makes you happy to actually have a budget. And then you must know that a generous reward is the best way to keep you motivated. So if you are going to have all your spoils in your budget, trust me, you are going to want to keep budgeting all the time. And then the other tip is, as I mentioned, is that you make the budget your own. So personal finance is very personal, and it's according to our own personal interests, our own personal interests and things that we desire. So if you build in your budget, make sure that it is you know. You should then you shouldn't just make sure that it is your own. And in a monthly budget, guys, you shouldn't just be budgeting on groceries, school fees, all these difficult things, but you should also, as I had said, put things like travel, boat cruise with your family, or what things that you know that personally these things make me happy, and these are the things on my bucket list. I have to do them, because guys, life is not all about just saving money and investing money. It is also about the traveling, the learning, the being informed, the adventures. It is all about that. So include your adventures, your personal adventures, in your budget, and in that way you are making it your own. And then the other thing is when you make a budget your own, you need to figure out which method you want to use. Do you want the digital Be Smart budget, or do you want to do it on paper, or do you want to go on Google and find free templates that you can use this on them, because the Be Smart budget is not free. So you need to decide what kind of budgeter are you. Are you a zero-based budgeter? Are you a flexible budgeter? So determine all of those things and then start budgeting, because a budget should not only work on paper or on a digital spreadsheet. It should also work in your life. And I always say that the day I started budgeting, I felt like I had received an increase from work, because now I was able to track where all my money was going, and I was able to allocate it according to how I think. I started giving my money chores, that you are going to do this, you are going to do that, and taking control of it instead of it controlling me. Because one thing about me, if I don't have money, I get mad, I get anxious, I get sad. I become a ball of emotions, because I love money. And then the other thing you can do is you can think of your future. So when you are drawing your budget, your budget should have a place for your investing, your saving, your future goals. What are your future plans for your children? So think of the future when you are putting together your budget, and make sure that you. So the other thing you can do is you can think of the future. So the core of budgeting is to save for something. It is to save towards something. So or work towards something. That is the core of budgeting. So I remember when I first heard the word budgeting, I learned that it is no budgetela budgeta whatever. I'm budgeting for my wedding, I'm budgeting for lobola, I'm budgeting to start a business. So that is the core of budgeting. It is to save towards something or to build towards something. So if you want to start a business or you want all those things, then you have to draw a budget. And when you have a strong personal goal in mind, you are going to be committed to sticking to a budget, no matter how difficult it is. But if you know the value that you are getting from budgeting, that I am budgeting for the specific thing, and when I receive it, this is how I'm going to feel, then you are definitely going to stick to it, no matter how hard it gets. And the other thing is, guys, the last tip is, don't be so hard on yourself. As I said, but sticking to a budget isn't easy. and then in some months it will look like a mess. Trust me, I've been doing it for years. I've been budgeting for years, but some months it still looks like a mess. Some months I am terrified to even look at it, but that is how finances are, because things change. This month this is higher, you have these are unexpected expenses that you didn't budget for, but you have to now cater for, and all of those things. But do not give up. Stick it out. Make sure that you keep on keeping at it, and eventually it doesn't get perfect, but it gets less messy the more that you do it. So I hope this information was helpful. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you like all of these kind of videos. And if you haven't checked out my website, I'm going to put a link in the description box. Go and purchase the Be Smart Budget. I am telling you, it is a tool that is going to change your life. I guarantee you that in the first 3 months of using the Be Smart Budget, you are going to see a change. So if you go to the website and you purchase the budget, you use it for the first 3 months, and you see no change, I promise you a full refund. So yeah, go ahead, go click on the link in the description box, and also click on the subscribe button. I will see you guys in the next video.